If you guys have any questions about what I'm doing in the video that I haven't explained, I've probably explained it in my last video on how to make a texture pack. If you guys have any questions, go watch that video and leave a comment what your question is. I hope you enjoyed the video. Are you guys tired of the regular boring Minecraft sky? Well, I got the tutorial for you guys. In this tutorial, we're going to be covering how to find an image for your sky, how to make a texture pack and put the sky in it, and how to edit it to make it look flush and with no lines or anything, and actually how to import it and also put it into Java, and how to make some cool stars with it and make this just look really good. Let's get right into the tutorial. I'm going to show you guys how to, get some wallpapers. So this is the website I use. I just put a link in the description. There's plenty of cool images and stuff in here, and you've probably seen a lot of these skies, maybe, but I'm just gonna show you how I do my skies. It's been a while, so yeah, but this image is basically just 1080p. It works fine. I would say the max would be 4K. This is like a 4K image here. But basically, you can just type in the width and the height. I wouldn't upscale it. I would just save it, and it tells you right here. But what you could do is you could just type in the dimensions. Make sure it's actually 4K resolution, 2K resolution, or 1080p. I wouldn't go any lower than 1080p because it's gonna look too pixelated. But basically, I have the dimensions. I'm just gonna press resize, and this is gonna be the resolution, and I'm just gonna download it. So basically, I'm just gonna have a folder. This is personal. You don't actually need one. But in here, I'm just gonna make a folder called like blue sky. And in here, I'm just gonna rename it to cube map. Make sure there's no caps or spaces and punctuation. Just cube map. And so in here, I have this sky and a few others. I might do these. I might have them in the description if you guys want them. Some skies may look a little bit buggy because you're rounding it. A quick example here. For this sky, if it's gonna be kind of symmetric, or not symmetrical, if it's gonna be in a circle, some of these buildings might curve, and I'm sure you guys see some with like planets and stuff where they're like oval shaped and not circles. So having a nice image like this could look cool. I'm not entirely too sure how cool this will look, but this is a cool image nevertheless. Alright, something I forgot to mention here was if you have a gradient as shown here that has two separate colors or two kind of blending colors in the gradient, for example purple to pink, the sky might not turn out that good. So basically right here I'm showing an example and failing to fold the paper into a circle, but this is roughly what the skybox is doing. So it kind of folds it into a circle here, and you can see it blends it together with two different colors because it's a gradient. You have a lighter purple and a darker purple, and that's also where the line is found in the skies from like top to bottom. That's kind of how it works. And so just avoid using gradient skies. Once it's named cube map, you're gonna open cube the sphere. Have a link in the description, and from here you just open it, cube map, no caps or spaces, and from here you can choose the resolution. So there's no point of really upscaling this image because it's not going to do anything to the quality. It's just going to make it a larger file, which means it's going to take longer for people to download. It's going to take up more space. So if it's a 1080p image, I would use 1024. I'd say the lowest you go is 512. 248 is like a 4K image. You want to do that. 1024 will work just fine. You could downscale images. So if it's 4K, this works fine. This will work fine. And once you have this selected, you want to extract all. So if I zoom in here, it's actually just selecting kind of one thing, and you'll see kind of a noticeable line here, and I'll be showing you guys how to fix that up. This is one image rendered, and then this is another one. So this would be the top or the bottom as well, because you guys see it like curves in, and this doesn't look too good either. And then there is this one, which is one of the sides. It looks clean. There's no noticeable line in it. and basically these will kind of render. Obviously if it's a higher resolution it might take longer, but it doesn't take a while. This one has a noticeable line, so we'll be able to fix that. And this should be the last one. You'll have 6. So out of the 6, 3 of them are going to have a noticeable line in them. I used to think it was kind of luck, like which one I got. So they're all rendered now. You might not want to stop it, you know, just in case. But basically you go in here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and you can see there's 3 with a noticeable line. This one, this one, and this one. So once that's done, you can just, you know, close out of that. And from here, we can see it's kind of split this up into these images. And there's a few things we can do from here. And I think the best thing is actually making the images look better. I'm gonna have this, you know, in the downloads if you guys need it. The software I'm using is paint.net, and I'm gonna have that in the description as well. It is free and there is a paid version, but I am using the free version and it works just fine. So the link is in the description for that as well. And so in here there's an image names. So we have the front is 0, the right is 1, the back is 2, the left is 3, the top is 4, the bottom is 5. So it goes 0 to 5, which means there's going to be 6 of them. And in here we have I'll just open it. But in here we have a star field thing, which is basically what it is in Java. This is how you would put in the image. And this is also how people would get Java skies. You would just kind of pop in the image, and I'll give you an example. So here's what it looks like. So you guys can see that this is a square, this is a square, this is a square, and then these are squares as well, which is, you know, the same format. So theoretically, if you guys wanted this sky, you could just copy this, and you don't have to put it in here. It's different, but you know, this could work. And actually, I mean, this is a really good sky, but I prefer making my own. But you can kind of tell that these two work together, and then this is the top, and this is the bottom, one or the other. This might be the top or the bottom, this might be the top or bottom. But you guys can tell the sky works fine. So I'm gonna get all 3 of the images that are kind of scuffed. So I'm going to the skies, and we could tell I've done this one. The front, I'm gonna open that with paint.net. You guys can do this in Photoshop, just I think paint.net is, you know, a lot quicker with this. But basically we have the bottom, the front, and the top. So in here we can see top, front, and bottom with the numbers corresponding to this code here. So the front is 0, so that just helps you out in case you name them beforehand, which I'm not gonna do. But basically I'm gonna copy this image here, and this is the bottom. So create a new layer, and I'm gonna move this to the bottom and kind of zoom in all the way, make sure this is, you know, perfectly in there. And if this is too small, what you can do is you can go into resize and basically make sure maintain aspect ratio is on, and the width, this width is 1024, but if you need it in 4K, you guys could just quickly look this up, and it would be 2160, and that would work for a 4K image. It might be a little blurry, so just make sure you have it in the right place. But it works just fine for a 1080p image. So now we're gonna get the front image, just select all of it, or Control A, and we're copying it, and we're gonna paste it. I like to put it over here just so I can make sure. So that's perfect, and then these two should actually kind of correspond together. And lastly, we have the top. So I'm gonna paste that up, and it should just fit right up in there. Make sure there's, you know, nothing on the edges. And this is, you know, the line is connecting. So this is we can actually see that this is the bottom, and this is the top. So this is kind of connecting them. And so a lot of people are confused of how I make them, you know, very clean, because a lot of the skies have noticeable lines and stuff. So here's the trick, guys. So what I could do is I'm going to select the right side, and if it's 1080p, it's going to be half of that, which is 512. Or it's 1024, I believe, but it's just 1080. And I'm going to select that by holding Control. You guys can see a little plus right there. By holding Alt is a minus. So that's how I'm getting this. And so once I have this, I'm gonna copy it. I'm gonna paste it on a new layer. You guys can see that here. And from here, I'm gonna go to layers, and then I'm gonna flip it horizontal. So you guys kind of see it moves over here. I'm gonna unselect these so you guys kind of understand. We're just looking at this layer here. And now I'm gonna paste it again and Control D to deselect. So we can see this layer is just a mirror. And that does look pretty cool, but that's not actually gonna blend in really well. So from here, I'm gonna move this layer down and view this layer. So it looks the exact same, but this layer is below it. And the trick here is to go back onto the top layer and go to the eraser tool. From here, I'd recommend a brush width of 150 if you're like in a 1080p image. You can go lower, you can go higher. Make sure this is enabled and make sure this is on this. And then hardness, just put on 0. So what we're gonna do here is, I'm gonna show you a little example. If I move this, it is copying this image. So what we can do is this noticeable line, we can kind of click around it, and we're actually blending these two together. So what I'm doing is I'm holding down, I'm just moving my scroll wheel up and down. It's a little trick that I've learned, but you guys can kind of tell that it is blending it together a little more, just like that. So now there's no noticeable line. You can kind of tell that this is a little bit weird, and then you might see some white pixels in here. And what we can do is select layer 3 and just grab them real quick. Go back to layer, or they're both called layer 3, but I'm sure you guys get the point. I'm just getting that same pixel, and that one's fine. Not a noticeable line, but it is a lot better than beforehand. So what we could do here is merge these two together from top to bottom. And what we could do is we can lower the opacity of this, because actually copying it over doesn't do anything. So we select background, we can see this. So I can actually, on background, I could select this and then go to my selection tool and hold Control and just select this so it just gets the box. So from here, I can copy this. Make sure I'm on layer 3 when I copy it. I'm gonna go back to the top layer right here. You guys can see the line, and it just kind of fades away there. So this is the new image, and I'm gonna Control Shift S to save as. You can also do that in File, Save As. So from here, I'm gonna look onto here, and we know this is the top, so the top is gonna be 4. So we're gonna actually quickly change this into a PNG, and instead of underscore top, we're gonna do underscore 4. So it's saved just like this. This should be all good, just press OK. So this is all good, and we're gonna do that for the front as well. So we're gonna select this on this layer, and it may go like this. You could just lower the tolerance and then select over this, or you can manually select in the corners. All right, so we're gonna copy the front layer, make sure we're on layer 3. We're gonna go to the front one, we can see it up here, and paste it. So the line is, it's noticeably gone. So from here to the same process, we're gonna change this to a PNG, and then when it says front, we're gonna look at that, and that is 0. So we're just gonna rename that to 0.png, save that. And now we just gotta do it at the bottom. Same step as before. See, that time I actually had background selected, so I need to copy it on the top layer. And it kind of does that. Control Shift S, PNG, and the bottom is 5. Alright, from here we don't actually need this anymore, but we could keep these 3 images. And I'm gonna keep this just because there's a cool thing that I actually haven't even tried out yet. Well, I'm gonna do that later. So now what we're gonna do is, in here we've gotten the lines fixed. Now we just have to get the ones that we haven't done. So we can tell that we have done these 3 here, and this is the bottom, front, and the top. So now we got to do the back, the left, and the right. So we're gonna open these in Paint 3D. A cool trick is actually selecting them all and then actually, dragging them, and it will open them. So these three are actually all completely fine. So all we have to do here is Control-Shift-S and change it to a PNG in the back. We can see is 2. So instead of back, I have 2. Save that. The left, I believe, is 3. It's been a while. So let me check. The left is 3. Just putting that _3 there. Make sure the cube map is just like that. No caps or spaces. And then the last one is the right. And the right should be 1. There we go. Alright, so once we have these all saved, what we can do is kind of delete the ones with actual names, which are these, and we can delete the reference image if you want. You don't necessarily need that, but we should have 1, 2, or we should have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, which is 6 in total. So now we can actually just put this into Minecraft and look at our sky. And I'm actually gonna do that real quick. So I'm gonna copy these and I'm gonna use my blank resource pack. Alright, so I've got my blank resource pack and I've actually, tested a sky in here. I'm sure many of people have seen this kind of sky. But what I'm gonna do is in here, we're gonna go into textures, environment, overworld, _cube map. If there's anything in here, we can just delete that. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna go to our skies and just copy these, paste them in here. And if you want these to be in your menu, what you can do is you go into textures. There should be a UI and you just rename them panorama with the same thing. So you just take out the cube map, replace it with panorama. So now that this is done, I'm actually gonna go to the UUID generator real quick and change this code real quick. So I'm pasting the link, I'm gonna refresh, copy this, hop on in here, and just paste that over here. Refresh, copy this, and paste this over here. Alright, so now this is set. We have everything all good. I'm just gonna rename this to Sky T. And make sure I'm not, remessing the code. Alright. From here, in the blank resource pack, 7-zip, add to archive, and rename that MC pack. We can just actually change this to bluesky.mcpack. And it's gonna go right here. If you guys don't have 7-zip, the link is in the description. Also, my first tutorial actually goes over all of this, so that's why I'm going through this quickly, because hopefully you kind of watched the first one. Alright, so once we're in Minecraft, yeah, I haven't played Minecraft. This is the Incube skin. He's doing a live stream. Basically, I'm just gonna take off this stuff, and here's the Sky T pack. So from here, you guys know the deal. Gotta test it out. Make sure it looks clean. And boom. Alright, so I'm actually gonna turn down my render distance, because it's at 80 chunks, and turn off clouds, because no one wants clouds. Come on now. Alright, so this is the sky. So this is where the line was, and you guys can tell that it's there once you notice it, like right where my crosshair is. But if you don't see it, this is just a clean sky. But you barely even see that. Like, that's just a clean sky. So yeah, that's the tutorial. But I'm also gonna show you a cool other thing that you guys might like as well. So This is a little extra. If you guys are satisfied with that, that's all you need. If it's a space, you could also do this thing that I'm about to do. But this star field thing right here, I'll put this in the description, why not? But basically what I'm gonna do is in this resource pack, in here, let me actually just close out all of these. So it's just simpler. And in the Z helpful, I'm gonna grab this. I'm gonna make sure this is it's an API, alright. So what I'm gonna do here is quickly, this is just optional, but basically I'm gonna select these and put them into Paint 3D. So what we could do here is this is cube map 3. So I'm gonna put it on 3, which is the left. Make sure it lines in the corner here. And this is also how you would make it into a Java sky. So if you guys want that, here it is. So this is basically the same thing over and over again that we just did, but we're just putting them in order. So I'm just kind of speeding through this part. So just like that, we've actually made a Java sky and a Bedrock sky in one video, guys. So, you know, this is cool and all, but what if we want stars like some other packs? You guys have seen those Java packs with the cool stars. I'm gonna make a new layer, and I'm gonna grab this. I'm gonna paste it. If it's not big enough, you guys can upscale it, alright? It's not gonna make it look worse. And so what we could do here, so we can go to settings and, you know, the blend mode. So here we can actually go through them to see which one looks best. And it may be hard to see, actually. I'm gonna zoom in. I'm just kind of using the down arrow key here. You can see this one has particles. I'll lower the opacity. You guys can see those particles, which is pretty cool. But we're gonna look at a few of them here. So that could be cool if you guys like that. You know, no one really wants that. That's decent. Difference, you can barely see that. A screen. Alright. So I definitely think addictive is probably the coolest. So just like that. We have some stars in here. So now we can merge this down and just select these layers. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna lower this so you guys can actually see. So here we got the bottom. So, and bottom is 5. So we're gonna go find the 5th one. Paste it. You guys can see how it's got the stars. No stars, stars. Once again, this is basically the same thing. I'm just putting them back together, so I'm speeding through this process again. And so that looks pretty cool. And actually, what you guys could do is you could just copy the images if you end up not liking the stars. These should have the stars in them. So what I'm gonna do now is go back in here, get the UUID again. We love doing this. It's the most, I mean, it's very easy, but it's just, you know, you do it so many times, it just gets annoying. Just like that. So this pack is now good. So I'm gonna rename it Blue Stars Sky.mc pack. And just like that. Alright, so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna get a kind of side by side of kind of what this looks like. So this is without the stars. And I've actually never done this with the stars, so I do want to see how this turns out. Oh god, which one is it? Should be the newest one. And this should be with stars. Boom. Ooh, I think it definitely looks better with the stars. You guys are gonna have to let me know on that one. But yeah. So guys, you know, sorry about the skin, by the way. But yeah, that's the tutorial. If you guys have any questions, the best way is through Discord or in the comment section. And if you guys have any other video ideas you want me to do, maybe the animated skies for the later versions that actually kind of move depending on the time of day, I could do that. Just gonna let you guys know, those are a pain to make. They take 3 times as long as this because you gotta make a day, a night, and stuff like that. But this is a sick sky nevertheless. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoy, and I'll see you in the next one.